The blackness was so thick it felt like drowning with eyes open. For a time, there was no sound, no movement, only silence, broken at last by a shuddering breath, wet and uneven. Someone was alive. Beth's hand twitched first, then dragged weakly across the floorboards. Her fingers slipped in blood, warm and slick, smearing across her palm. She coughed, choking on the iron taste in her mouth, and every nerve in her body screamed at once. Her shoulder burned where the dagger had gone in, her skin split and raw, but somehow she was still breathing. The room smelled of rust and damp earth. A low hum filled the air, too deep to be natural, vibrating through the wood beneath her cheek. When she forced her eyes open, the darkness pressed back. Shapes swam in the shadows, slumped bodies, still and cold. Her siblings. Her heart buckled. She whispered their names, broken syllables slipping past her lips. Sarah. Timothy. Her voice was fragile, a thread about to snap. No answer. Only the house exhaling around her, its boards creaking as though it had been watching all along. And then a voice, low, layered, impossible to place. It leaked from the walls, from the cracks in the ceiling, from the soil under the floor. One line, one blood, one remains. Beth clutched her chest, trembling. She didn't want to remain. She had begged for it to stop, begged for none of them to choose. But now she was the one left, her survival a cruel accident of fate. Or worse, chosen. She tried to crawl toward Sarah's body. The outline of her sister was clear in the dark, sprawled in silence, the shard of wood still in her hand. Beth reached, desperate, but stopped when she heard it, breathing that was not hers. It came from the far corner, slow and steady, too measured to belong to the dying. Beth froze, her skin crawling. Something shifted. A shadow peeled itself from the wall, rising tall, back bent at an unnatural angle. Its veins glowed faintly in the dark, black rivers coursing beneath the skin. And then the face tilted into the faint shimmer of the dagger's glow. Patrick. Beth's blood turned to ice. His chest rose and fell, but his eyes were wrong. They glowed faintly, pale and endless, like moons drowning in a swamp. His smile stretched too wide, too steady for someone who had just bled. Beth, he crooned, his voice wrapped in echoes that didn't belong to him. Little Beth. You survived. Her stomach lurched. This wasn't her brother. Not anymore. She tried to push herself back, legs slipping against bloodied wood. No, she whispered, shaking her head. No, this can't. Patrick stepped forward, his movements deliberate, as though the body wasn't his to control. His veins writhed under his skin like worms. When he spoke again, it was layered with something vast, something old. You are not the inheritor. I am. I never left. The words tore through her. She remembered the visions, the whispers of her grandfather's pact. The land was never meant for them to own. It had always been a promise to the spirit, blood for soil, bodies for roots. The forest had only borrowed their family line to keep itself alive. Beth staggered to her knees, clutching her wound. Why me? She cried, voice breaking. Why leave me? Patrick's grin widened, teeth too sharp in the gloom. Because you are soft, he whispered, stepping closer, and soft things break best. You will see what inheritance truly means. The dagger trembled on the floor, its hum swelling. Shadows bent toward it, reaching like starving hands. Patrick crouched, his black-veined hand curling around the hilt. When he lifted it, the glow painted the walls in sickly light. The house groaned with satisfaction. Beth backed against the wall, sobbing. You're not him. You're not my brother. His head tilted, the pale eyes burning into her. No. But through him, I own it all. The land. The blood. The line. You were never heirs, you were soil. Her breath hitched, her vision spinning. This wasn't survival. This was punishment. The land had not chosen her to inherit, it had chosen her to witness. To suffer. Patrick's steps echoed across the boards as he raised the dagger higher, its hum now a chorus of voices chanting from the walls. The pale eyes in the passage flared once more, watching, waiting. Beth pressed her hands to her ears, screaming. But the voices slid inside her skull, whispering in rhythm with her heartbeat, "The last inheritor. The last inheritor. The last inheritor." Patrick loomed above her, shadow stretching across the blood-soaked floor. His voice dropped to a hiss that was not his own. "The last inheritor, is me." The dagger gleamed as it hovered above her. The house leaned in, hungry. And then, Beth's hand brushed against Sarah's body. Her sister's fingers were stiff, cold, but clutched tight around the broken shard of wood. For an instant, Beth thought she saw Sarah's lips move, though no breath escaped them. A whisper, faint, carried in Beth's ear though no one spoke, "Finish it." Her eyes widened, heart thundering. She wrapped her shaking fingers around the shard, warm with her sister's blood. Patrick's dagger came down. And Beth raised the shard. The house roared, shadows whipping like a storm. The pale eyes in the passage flared so bright they split the dark. And in that terrible moment, Beth realized the truth: maybe the land hadn't chosen her to witness. Maybe, just maybe, it had chosen her to fight. The dagger and shard clashed with a sound like splitting bone. And the world went black again.